Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Today we're going to be diving into the world of Cardano, and just to let you know right from the outset, this is not going to be a fundamentals video. We're not going to be looking at Cardano as a blockchain. We are going to be and have lots of exciting videos lined up for you where we're going to really be exploring things like Hydra, Mithril, which is a really neat concept. I actually have an interview coming out with John Wood after this, who of course was the CTO at Cardano. He's now the CTO at Algorand. He talks about something called state proofs, and Mithril is a similar kind of design concept, and actually is a game changer, certainly from the likes of interoperability and all these cool things that you can do with it. So we will be doing lots of fundamental content as always for ADA, but this is going to be price specific. Now you guys will know that I have been calling for Cardano to break out of the current 30-40 cents range and actually go on to the 60-70 cent range in a short period of time. And that's very much the direction that I think Cardano is on. And this is exactly what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be looking at it, looking at where we kind of are and where I think we're going, and actually show you that the structure that Cardano is currently forming right around this sort of 42 cents neckline that we've essentially assumed is very healthy and common practice just before you break out of a key level of significance. You're currently coiling up around it. You're acting very volatilely on it. When you do indeed go past that 42 cents mark, maybe you come back to retest it, but then you are well and truly off. And we're going to be looking at the pullback that we've had from the 42 cents. I did think we'd break out a little bit sooner, or there was a chance that the structure that we were in more immediately a couple of weeks ago looks pretty good. But of course, we also gave another scenario, which was, well, if this isn't the current right shoulder being formed, and we haven't already gone through that, then the right shoulder is still to be formed, and we can expect a pullback before that continuation. And that looks like the journey that we're very much on. I want to start off with a monthly. This is a Heikin-Ashi candles. Now, Heikin-Ashis are very much momentum-based candles. I use them as an early trader, or in my early trading days, to scalp the lower timeframes. They can show a change and a shift in momentum. And there's a lot of concepts out there that actually incorporate the Heikin-Ashi candles in terms of giving exit and entries to a trade, and you know, there is a lot of people that do make money via that. The short-term time frame trading isn't really for me. I'm more of a sort of decent time, you know, a matter of days I like to be in trades for. I don't really like to take 5-minute or 3-minute trades. I like to be in trades for days, even hours potentially, but don't really like to be in trades for a matter of minutes. So what am I trying to show you here? Well, the Heikin-Ashi candles, again, are very much a momentum-based candlestick. And you can see that we actually had the first monthly green close for Cardano since the bear market inception back in sort of September. We know the Alonso hard fork really caused a lot of FOMO into it. You know, I actually expect it to pull back and then continue. Of course, Cardano's bear market started earlier than the kind of larger market, but then again, its bull market kind of started earlier. So I think Cardano stands a damn good chance with this green close of having another green candle. And actually, if you go through Cardano's entire history, there has never only been one single green candle. There's only ever been one single red candle, and that was here. Remember, this is a monthly time frame, so this is a macro kind of structure. If we flip it over to the normal candlesticks, you can see we did actually have a red close here on the monthly. But the indicator, again, is very much momentum based and is showing you, you know, there's a very good probability of the next candle being a green one. And this is all happening, and this is the monthly chart, remember, guys, at a time when we are looking for Cardano to break out. Right now, I'm loading up on ADA, and will probably accumulate my bag of Cardano for the coming cycles, the coming bull market. If we do indeed enter a bull market, I'm not saying we're in one now. Technically, that would go against what I believe. You know, I think a bull and a bear market is a 6-month plus trend that uses Dow theory to determine it, whether it's a downtrend or an uptrend. And essentially, we're talking about a concession of lower lows and lower highs for a downtrend, and a concession of higher highs and higher lows for an uptrend. I don't think we've entered that uptrend yet, but I think we may be on the precipice of it. And we've looked at things for Bitcoin, and the broader markets that suggest that there is a good chance, you know, we have caught the bottom back here when we first invested on the 5th of January. So what are we looking at? Well, let's dive down into the daily time frame here, ladies and gentlemen. And essentially what I'm calling for is a reverse head and shoulders here. So this, I believe, was your FTX spill. And Cardano has now come back up to sort of test this, what we're calling a neckline. Now, we did have a scenario drawn out where we'd have this kind of imperfect head and shoulders, and that this would be your left shoulder, this would be your head, and then this would have been your right shoulder, okay? That's been invalidated very much, and we did give this as an option. All the videos are still up. This is more of a complex head, and you're now actually forming your right shoulder. And actually, pullbacks and corrections are a very healthy thing. For me as a trader, for me as an investor, they provide opportunities more than anything. Certainly if we think that something is going to continue after it's had its pullback. And that's what I believe this opportunity is today, ladies and gentlemen. So we've looked at a few things. You know, one reason that I thought maybe we could have had this potentially could have been your, I'll just minimize my face a little bit so it doesn't get in the way. This potentially could have been your neckline, with it being here, is this structure that we had here looked pretty damn good. And I was actually expecting potentially some sort of continuation, but you've of course got invalidated, and then you've started your journey to the downside. So this is essentially what we're calling for Cardano, is that this is an inverse head and shoulders. It widely ties in with the DNA across the broader market. Lots of altcoins are coiling up around this point of resistance, and I think set to see that continuation out of it. And essentially, it's a head and shoulders that we're looking at. So we're going to draw that nice and neatly. We're also going to take a look at the fibs and where this pullback came to, where it could potentially go to. And obviously, there's a point of invalidation with that. But first of all, let me find the head and shoulders pattern very, very quickly. So this is essentially what we're calling for. Something like this to play out. Essentially. And then we look for that upside, and we'll give you an upside target of this very, very quickly. Just do it again for you. Just takes you to just below that 60 cents mark. And this, of course, is the prior range that we were in before we spilt, obviously with FTX. And it would take you towards the kind of top of this range. So whether you do something like this, you could still pull back a little bit more, by the way. We'll look at that when we drop down the time frames. And then you set up for more continuation and come to test these levels. Maybe you put a wick through it, and then you get a longer consolidation before you then take these levels here. Let's just put the volume by price on, guys, to see exactly how much volume there's actually been. So you can see one of the periods of very little volume is the period above this sort of 60 cents mark. Now, the head and shoulders pattern takes you to 60 cents, but if you can get above that, your next sort of significant resistance for me is here at this low. And you can see there's very thin volume here. You've got a big stack of volume, so you're likely to get congested here before, you know, you can then go above and beyond. So this is basically the roadmap that we're looking for Cardano. And I think it has a very, very good chance of playing out. You know, dropping down the time frame, let's take a look at this pullback on a more immediate time frame. Let's use the 4 hour. Let's get the fibs up. We can get rid of this now. And take a look where we are in terms of the Fibonacci retracement. So this is actually very healthy. It's very, very common on pullbacks. And you can see just the interaction you've had with this 618 level. Can you see this? So it's very common that you do this. You know, I'd bet my bottom dollar that there was a bearish divergence. Yeah, sort of. Not really with these two highs, which is what I was looking for, but generally a weakening in momentum. Let's switch it to the daily. Yeah, you can see actually you do have a bearish divergence. This has got to reset. Once it has reset and you've taken this sort of mid 50 point on the RSI, I do think you are going to be looking for upside. Now, there is still the possibility, drawing this head and shoulders again, that we do have a deeper correction. That's largely going to depend on the overall market. Remember, February has really been a month of markets second guessing themselves and looking to reprice interest rates where they're implied to be going. And of course, the S&P, the stock market, is adjusted in accordance. So you could make it down to your 50%. I wouldn't want to see that ran. Your 50% actually ties in with your left shoulder high. Even getting to there, I mean, maybe you can do something like this where you see a sharp wick through it and then back. But even getting to here and running this would be a kind of invalidation of the head and shoulders. Not entirely, but it would give me, you want to see a way weaker right shoulder than a left. It gives you a good kind of base to assume that the head and shoulders is going to play out. And honestly, guys, this is what I think we're looking for. Something like this. You maybe come back to retest it, and then you are away, in my opinion. So I'm personally loading up my Cardano bags at the current moment. What you guys decide to do is entirely up to you. But I am saying that I think technically Cardano is very much set for upside. Where are we totally wrong on the upside? Well, of course, for me, it would be if you come down and take the 0.3 on the fib. That gives you a very good... This becomes more than a pullback at that point, in my opinion. Even going past the 50 kind of becomes somewhat more than a pullback. But certainly the 0.3, you come below this, do something like this, then you can say, okay, it's likely you're going to retrace the whole move and we can start looking for lower lows. At this moment in time, I'm planning for higher prices, not lower until some of these levels are taken. So I still do absolutely envision that Cardano is going to look for that upside. And I think it's a matter of time. I think when we time the Heikin-Ashis, when you time the current structure, when we look at Bitcoin and we do analysis on Bitcoin every single day on this channel, it's in very much a similar kind of setup. If we look at Polkadot, for example, not sure what I'm showing here or was trying to show with this fib, but you can see they're all coiling up around this kind of pre-FTX, looks very similar to the Cardano chart. The difference with Polkadot is it's not only broken or put its toe back above the kind of range, it's held it depending on where you look to draw it, but it's at a similar kind of stage. And if just to go back to the Cardano chart, if you look at, if we look at the bull market, for example, it's very common when you run into resistance. Let's go ahead and use the daily. It's very common. I mean, look at all the wicks here, by the way, guys. This may just be because of the, this is on Binance. This is probably one of the better charts. Can you see as you come into this really serious point of resistance, you have this mad consolidation. You probably argue that you probably even had a mini head and shoulders in there. This has taken us miles back. You can see you always get resistance at these levels. The trick is are you going to come down and retrace it, or are you going to look for that upside? My personal opinion is that you're going to be looking for upside. Right, 1 hour is not giving us much. There we go. We'll get there eventually. You could even say you had some sort of a mini head and shoulders here. Sort of. No, you can't. Can you see how you run into resistance? You act kind of very choppy. You put in this kind of almost like a double bottom structure. This is what I think Cardano is setting up now, but in a very volatile manner. You can see as you ran into resistance here, you consolidate around it, you act very skittishly and volatile, and then you explode out of it. And you can see this with resistance levels all over the place. This is what I think you're in for ADA, guys. Looking at this as a case specific, you're very much doing something like this. I ultimately think you're going to set up and you're going to see that upside. That's just my opinion and take on it. Remember, it's not financial advice. You see this? And then you boost off out of it. This is what I think you still have to come. I think this takes you towards 60 cents. That's very much what I'm anticipating for Cardano. This was just a price update because I have made the... what's the right word? I have made the prediction that I think Cardano is heading to the upside. And this is technically how I think we get there. And we know where technically we're wrong. And that's really all I've got for you in this video, guys. I'm going to keep you up to date and let me know if you'd like me to continue to give price-specific updates on Cardano. Lots of fundamental great stuff coming out, but this was just purely technical, looking at the price, looking at where I think it's going, and reiterating that I still stand with my prediction that I think Cardano is going to break out. We have anticipated all of this. We anticipated this sell, this retest, and potentially a sell here. And now we're just looking for a clear break of what we're calling a neckline at around about 42 cents. A retest potentially, or some sort of a retracement after breaking it. And then that continuation to the upside, taking you to 60 something cents. And then we'll work out where we are. I think you're back on the road to $1 for Cardano. We spoke with Anson, great interview that we did. And we speak to lots of projects building within the Cardano ecosystem. And there's a lot of great things on the horizon for it. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always greatly appreciated. So is a comment. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, ladies and gents.